So today we'll be talking about this £50 PC that we are building. Why did we build this PC? We built it for this competition. It's £50 or 66 US dollars, and it was with a bunch of other small channels including MC Tech and Use Tech Hustle. The links to all the other people's channels will be in the description. The rules were you have to have it has to be below budget. It has to be able to play games there. And also the power supply you don't have to factor in for safety reasons as the budget is so low. Any rules in full description, because I can't really remember them, will be in the description below. So right, what do we have in this PC today? We have two Xeons X5355, which are 65nm parts on the 771 board in this HP WX8400 workstation that we have here. We have 16GB of RAM and a GTX 660 graphics card, which is really the Achilles heel of this system. So what did we have for our old plans? Because this has quite a bit of history, this PC here. We have an i3-2100. We have a Dell board. We have an IBM X58 board. With an i7-920. We had another idea of a Pentium 6th gen CPU in a mining board. That was stupid. A Core 2 quad with an Asus board, which was good for overclocking, or this current plan of the Xeons, which used to be our backup plan. Basically, we couldn't actually get to that because the other systems all went through because there was RAM wasn't included, and DDR3 RAM was too expensive for this contest. The i3 was not going to be performing well enough, and it really was on a Dell board, which couldn't work very well. X58 is way too expensive, and Pentium 6th gen on a mining board was just a stupid idea throughout. Right, so now let's go on to this competition PC that we have here. So we've talked about the specs, the dual Xeons and all that, which is pretty sweet to be honest. But how did we do with our tweaking then? Basically, the hard drives we have were damn slow, so every time we restarted after installing drivers or any other problem came up and we had to restart, it was slow. So, okay, we overclocked the GPU, apart from in PUBG, because it crashed. The GPU has different overclocking amounts, which is the maximum stable values for all games on this card. We couldn't overclock the CPUs, so they are stuck at their stock frequency of 2.6 GHz. Not great, but you know, to be honest, the thread should carry it. Yeah, so the graphics card is overclocked. So it went smoothly, as much as I say smoothly. We had 2 days for this since the Xeons arrived so late. We had the evening of the 8th to make our modding, which we'll go on about later, and today, the 9th of March, which is the deadline day. So, no time for problems. Everything was going pretty swimmingly, Windows was installed, drivers were fine, getting some games downloaded. So about 3 o'clock today, we finished downloading our last game, and we couldn't quite benchmark it because we had to do a restart for disabling the Meltdown and Spectre patches, which can improve PC performance on older computers like this one. So and then we restarted, came back in, and all of a sudden drivers are missing. And so we go in, the screen is all blurry, right? And we think, well, what the hell is this? Go into GeForce Experience, and it asks us to sign in. nVidia, please fix. So we sign in with the Epic Tech Google account, and nothing happens. We attempt to reinstall the drivers, and it doesn't work. Still annoying. So we decided to restart again, and no change. And it was reporting that the thing happened that in the device manager that it was not working as it should be. The card was, and then I found out the issue. There was this bloody iQute fan that we got for £4 along with some other crap, and it had fallen onto our graphics card. Okay, so how the hell did that happen? But anyway, we got rid of the iQute fan, it's in a bin now, and and to get the drivers to reinstall, we deleted the nVidia folder in program files. I don't know how that helps, but it did. Well, anyway, then we managed to get into some benchmarks, but that's a bit later on in the video. Dai will now talk about some modding.
So with modding, it was quite simple. All we wanted to do is make the PC look better, so we made a hole in the side panel, which took quite a while. As it's a server case, it's like secure, and like it was pretty like double thick, like at least half a centimeter. So using a Dremel wouldn't work, so we had to get a full fat angle grinder, which was alright. It did get the job done, but it wasn't neat, so we had to give it a go at the file for quite a while, which didn't help as we limited time, as we've said. So we did that, all went well. We sprayed it black, which looks pretty decent on both sides, of course. Cut the acrylic, which was fine, easy gone, and put it on, no problems, and it just looks quite good.
So yeah, we spent about £5 on the modding components. Okay, so these are the benchmarks that we're doing. We're doing Doom, Tomb Raider 2016, Counter-Strike Go, PUBG, Cinebench, User Benchmark, War Thunder, and Geekbench, which I don't like, but we're doing it anyway for some reason. Right, so starting off with Doom. Doom, we got an average frame rate of 52.8, a minimum of 35.6, and then a maximum of 73.2 frames. Not bad, it was at the low settings though. In Tomb Raider, we got a minimum frame rate of 128 frames, a maximum frame rate of 208, and an average frame rate of 169.1. So I think this benchmark was absolutely blown out the water by this card and CPU combo. Then we have Counter-Strike, which we for some reason ran at the high settings at 1080p. We got a minimum frame rate of 18 frames, a maximum frame rate of 175 frames, and an average frame rate of 56.3 frames. Now, PUBG. PUBG is quite weird because it had a minimum frame rate of 42 frames, a maximum frame rate of 69.8, and an average of 60.7, which people keep complaining that this game is so hard to run, but this is a 660 and CPUs from 10 years ago, so I don't think it really is. Next up, we have Cinebench.
So for Cinebench, we got a stonking 501 for the CPU score, and the average 44.2 FPS in the OpenGL test.
Okay, so for user benchmark, on our CPUs we had a bench of 33.9%, which for some reason didn't use both of our CPUs, epic style. On our GPU we had 29.4% of a GTX 1070, which is pretty nice, but you know what, we can deal with that. Next up is War Thunder with a low at 1080p. We had a minimum frame rate of 20.7, a maximum frame rate of 90.1, and an average frame rate of 60.9 frames per second. Okay, so next up we have Geekbench, which had a weird amount. It was quite balanced towards the GPU. For the CPU, we had a single core score of 1616 and a multi-core score of 8,195 points. And on the GPU side, we had a score of 50,613 OpenCL test score. The board, power supply, case, and RAM, they were all free. We had two CPUs for £16, not each, but all together. The hard drives were £5, stupidly expensive. The graphics card was £25, and the spray paint and acrylic sheet was £3, which gives us a total £49. Hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to check out the other videos which we've linked in the description, and their channels. They're all pretty good channels, to be honest. Also, thanks for MCG Tech to inviting us to this tournament. Very, very nice move there, mate. And yeah, like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time, hopefully.